The first two games in Boston didn't go the Kings' way. In fact, now he sits in a spot where it's almost a must-win in game number 3 coming up on Saturday in Cleveland. In the meantime, we welcome you in. It's another playoff edition of Game Time here in Atlanta. Casey Stern, the Hall of Famer, Grant Hill. Hall of Famer to me, Brendan Haywood.
I appreciate that, my brother.
Anything for you, pal. We got a lot to get to, including the opener of the WNBA and their season, so welcome back. We'll talk about that, get to the highlights, but let's start with, speaking of LeBron, the Cavs, Ty Lue, and their outlook heading into Game 3. Take a listen.
We got to play physical. They're a physical team. They're a team that can switch a lot of things because they have similar-sized guys, and they're doing a good job of just, taking away our post-ups, being physical, and we got to do the same.
They do a really good job of contesting shots. They've been physical the entire playoffs, and Brad Stevens is going to put them, not only in the offensive end, but on defensive end, put them in a really great position to succeed. And I think their strength is their entire team. They play extremely well. Guys are stepping up throughout the course of the playoffs. So, like I said, we just have to bring it at home and make sure we come out and are in attack mode.
We have to be more consistent with our energy. I think the biggest thing is we can't get frustrated when things don't go the way we want them to. It's been a challenge for us all year. We got to stay positive. I think being at home will help, having the home crowd behind us.
I think the expectation is very high here because of the talent that we have and the group of veterans that we have and what we believe we're capable of. So, I think anytime you lose, there's going to be some frustration and ways to get better. And guys need to pick up their level of play, but that's all the way across the board.
We have to come out with a sense of urgency, looking to attack early. Don't ease into the game. Don't let this team off the hook. And we know they play well at home, and they had 2 good games, so now it's our turn.
If things are going to change in the title turn in this series, everybody talks about the others and the offense. But, Brendan, the defense is first, right? Isn't that the biggest key of what needs to turn around with Cleveland?
The defense definitely has to turn around. The rotations haven't been crisp. Defensively, they've been letting way too many shooters and way too many guys go unchecked. You see right here, 2 Cavaliers don't get to the ball. Then they swarm their late. Tristan Thompson should be firing out to the corner. He doesn't. Al Horford uncontested jump shot. Very bad defense. Now we're seeing bad communication by the Cavaliers. George Hill and Tristan Thompson don't communicate on the screen. Marcus Smart drives down the lane, finds Baines for the easy dunk. This is playoff basketball, ladies and gentlemen. This is way too easy. This is the cardinal sin of basketball. Nobody stops the ball. Probably the most athletic person on Boston's team, Jaylen Brown, uncontested layup. LeBron James, ball watching, goes to sleep. Morris cuts open for a layup. JR tries to help Bron. Bron all of a sudden doesn't go with Jaylen Brown. 2 guys in the paint on Morris, Jaylen Brown wide open. Bad defense. And last but not least, we have Kevin Love right here. Standing up, that's not really a defensive stance. I'm not really sure what that is. Not rotating, not staying in the corner, not helping on defense. I saw a lot of bad rotations. I saw a lot of bad communication. Guys not on the same page, disjointed, not connected. That is not playoff level intensity. That's not playoff level defense. If the Cavaliers want to win and win Game 3 and get back into the series, they have to do better than that on their home court.
So defense, we know, hasn't been great. The offense, they're going to get more scoring out of this backcourt, G. It has been, they got outscored a lot. We won't even give the numbers to very, very little. Can they get enough out of Hill and out of J.R. Smith and the group that they have?
They can get better. Obviously 3 points between the 2 of them is not acceptable against 41 points between Jaylen Brown and, of course, Rozier. So they have to play better, and I anticipate they will at home. But give credit to Boston. Their defense, their length has given problems to everybody on Cleveland, not named Kevin Love and LeBron James. I expect maybe LeBron, instead of looking to be aggressive early like in Game 2, he'll try to get his guys going because he knows he'll need them. But he knows also he can get his at any point. But the rest of the guys, one of those guys has to step up. I think it could be J.R. Smith. He's had big moments, big shots in the playoffs. This is a big moment for him, Game 3.
Celtics haven't been good on the road, guys, so far in the playoffs. One of the big factors has been the difference in Terry Rozier at home and on the road. As players, what can a vet like Al Horford say to a Rozier? How do you get him? Do you bring Drew Bledsoe with him? How do we get him to play better on the road?
I think the biggest thing is Al to basically just tell Terry, listen, calm down. The same guy you are at home, you can be that same guy on the road. You're a great player. You've proven you are ready for the bright lights. Now it's just time for you to take your show on the road. You've been scary, Terry, in Boston. On the road, you've just been scary. We need you to turn that thing around. What are you laughing at? And find a way to be more consistent because you're very key to our team.
Every once in a while, you're funny, Brendan.
Thank you very much.
Jaylen Brown, we talked about him, and you mentioned his scoring. That hamstring looks to be fine. He really has stepped up in that athleticism. Excuse me, I'm verklempt from it.
Don't worry,
Daffy.
Keep
in the
going.
first couple of games in this series.
No, his athleticism is
Yes,
pretty good.
Jaylen
Brown is definitely
it's that Duke degree right there.
No, he's playing great. He looks healthy. He looks comfortable. He's aggressive. He's hunting his shot. He's playing with great confidence. He's attacking the basket. His health has been great. But look at those numbers: 23 points, very efficient from the three-point line. He can get to the basket, score a number of ways, moving without the basketball. And they love to take advantage of matchups. He's a two-guard. He's got two guards going against him. It's a mismatch inside, and with him shooting the ball from the perimeter like he has been unguardable this series.
Further away from that hamstring issue, Jaylen Brown has been better. So, out west, could the same be said as we go to Oracle for Game 3 for Steph Curry? Has it been the injury? Rust? Not playing well, the defense, or all of the above? We'll break it down going out west when we return. Through the first two games, things might be even, but it has not been even close to what we're used to expecting from Steph Curry. You look at the numbers there and what we've seen, and obviously, Grant, I think the question becomes for a lot of us watching it from the outside, can we attribute it to the injury? How much of it has to do with just not playing well? I know Steph's taken some accountability. And how much maybe do we credit the defense and what Houston is trying to do right now?
Casey, I think it's all of the above. Right now, Steph Curry not getting it done on the offensive end, which is a bit of a surprise, but also defensively. Right now, Houston is going at Steph Curry as much as they can. It was the screen and roll with Capella. Now they're just finding whoever Steph Curry is guarding, having him come set a screen on the basketball, and right there, Chris Paul, making him fall down. Of course, once again, Trevor Ariza sets a screen. Steph Curry, hard show, get back. Ariza sets a rescreen, forces a switch. Now you got an ISO against the MVP, number one-on-one player in the game. And James Harden just takes his time, waltzes down the lane. Defense not good there. And then, of course, now they try to communicate. Gordon, once again, forces a switch. Chris Paul has an ISO, takes his time, gets to the paint. No resistance defensively. And really, it's the same thing over and over again right now. If they don't have something in transition, which Houston was able to push, they come set a screen with Curry's man, knowing Golden State likes to switch. Now, James Harden able to rise up. So when you're defensively getting a steady diet of that, they're picking on, what it has to affect you mentally on the defensive end, and it may carry over on the offensive end. I do expect, though, Curry will try to come out and get going early, hit some shots, obviously being at home, being comfortable. But defensively, he's going to have to figure out what to do because Houston has figured out how to go at him.
After Game 1, I remember joking, we're on the set, the Rockets, 106 points and 37,000 dribbles. It was not that in Game 2. We all thought they needed to play a little bit differently, right, Brendan? Move the ball. They moved it well. What was the difference that you saw in Game 2?
Well, the difference was definitely that the ball moved. They were able to get out in transition. They were able to get some stops as well. That also helped their transition ball game. But everybody touched the ball. It wasn't just James Harden standing around dribbling. You're seeing right now, look at this ball movement here. The ball is moving. Everybody is getting a piece of it. Everybody feels like they're a part of.
Looks like the Warriors, right?
Yeah, everybody feels like they're a part of the offense. So what we saw was a little bit less ISO. They still ISO'd a lot, but it wasn't the amount of ISOs they did in Game 1. Game 1, they had like 45-something ISOs. It was way too many. They cut that number down, got out in transition, shared the ball, got some of their role players involved, guys like Ariza, P.J. Tucker, Eric Gordon was key. So got those guys involved, shared the ball. They looked a lot different.
Yeah, you mentioned P.J. Tucker. We talk about on the Warriors side, right? Normally it's a bunch of different guys scoring. It's been really KD and everyone else. But we saw on the Rockets side that everybody was getting a hand in it, including Tucker and Gordon.
Well, I think you're right. They were getting involved, but I think a couple things. Houston, they pushed the tempo. They didn't walk the ball up. They pushed the ball up. They forced turnovers defensively, got out, and now others got easy open looks. And now as a player, you get touches, you get a rhythm, you get comfortable. Now there's a collective confidence that was going, and you could feel it while watching the game. And, yeah, I mean, before it was just Just Harden and Paul. Now you have 4, 5, 6 guys all contributing, getting hot. You know, it was just a fantastic team effort, and they're going to have to try to take that now on the road and bring that same team effort against, you know, a very, very talented Warriors team.
Let me get to the other side. Can the Warriors win this series with KD carrying the kind of load that he has? We know he's a fantastic player. This is an all-time player. But he's carried such a large load. That's not normally their style, Brendan.
That's not normally their style, but if the defense dictates it, yes, they could. You have to take advantage of what's there. They're playing KD one-on-one, and if he has the matchup and if he's able to take advantage, he has to continue to go to that. The Rockets are switching a lot of ball screens. They're being a lot more disciplined on the weak side. They're not giving up the open threes and some of those backside layups that they did in Game 1. That's something else they did in Game 2 that helped them out a lot. So if they're going to let you play one-on-one with one of the best scorers in NBA history, if you're Golden State, you take it. But what you also have to do is run when you have the opportunity to run, and then you run a couple other sets to get some other guys their shots, make sure Klay feels like he's involved. Same thing with Steph. But if they're going to play one-on-one with Kevin Durant, take your chances. He's a good enough scorer, and he's a very efficient scorer. He's good enough to take over and win this series.
Well, we mentioned all-time. An all-timer is part of the opener of the WNBA season. Diana Taurasi, as good as they've been, a legend, still going. We'll get to the action in the opener next.